you know, one of the things that are happening, it happens in California, happens in Boston too, Boston, Massachusetts, is in those locales, parents actually pay a fee for busing. In addition to, even though it's public school and you pay taxes, I have a friend that lives in Boston and she actually pays a couple $100s a year for busing opportunities. So that has never come up in CMS. I've never heard it mentioned, but I have had friends that have talked to me about that, and actually Mr. Wood has talked to me one time about it. But I don't think that's right now an option for us, but I know that some places are dealing with some of their budget crunches with that as an alternative. So that's kind of where we are. It's kind of a bleak picture right now. We don't know much, so you will be getting inundated with information. I will try to update parents pretty regularly, not only through these, but through the Hawkeye, just to kind of keep people aware of what's going on. But at this point, the board has approved absolutely, unequivocally nothing. It's just been presented to them. Last Tuesday it was presented. That's when the article started coming out. I think it's this coming Tuesday, they will begin the conversation of what do they want to approve and what they don't. And what you will see is a very interesting, and I don't get cable, so I don't get to watch the interesting dynamic. Even though this board is far better than the other ones we've ever had in regard to working together, you will see a very interesting array of responses in regard to what people will stand behind. At this point, I don't think you can get 5 board, because you need 5 to get, you know, the vote to go through. I'm not sure right now there's 5 people that will go with anything at this point. So there's going to be some conversation, interesting conversation about all these. And even though it's probably the most minute thing in regard to the budget, middle school sports, I have a feeling, will jump to the forefront somehow in regard to the impact that that will have on especially kids that don't have the opportunity to do club sports. Because, you know, some parents will be able to afford to have their child play youth sports through other avenues, where in some places that's not going to be an opportunity that they're going to be able to afford. So that will obviously be one of the cries that you will hear in those meetings, and probably from parents. But again, if you have questions about the budget over time, shoot me an email. I probably won't know the answer, but I will find out the answer the best I can to get you some insight on a number or something you see on the TV that doesn't make any sense to you. Yes. My guess is that this does not settle until probably early June.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So
Now CMS will make their decisions based upon board approval. So if the board looks at these recommendations and says, this is what we're going to do, they will go ahead and move forward based on the recommendations they have. If more money ends up coming back later on because whatever taxes are better than we thought, or the lottery had gained more money than they believed, then they will decide what comes back.
Okay.
There will be a protocol in place that the board will set stating what will come back online. Because there's some question of, right now, we do have another $20 million shortfall that's going to hit us next year in the 2012-13 year. You know, there's some people that would say, rather than bringing things back right away, you need to get $20 million and put it aside so you can protect programs for the next shortfall that's coming, rather than, you know, not prepare for that. So there will be conversation about that too. So you'll hear about that in the process as well. And Dr. Gorman has really been very conservative in his approach in regard to the financial piece. So he does try to think ahead in regard to some of those things. So my guess, his opinion will be to try to take $20 million off the top if that money somehow reappears, and put it toward the next cliff that's waiting out there for us in 2 years with funding. So other things, I kind of wanted to get people's feedback on our crazy snow days. The question I need to ask, obviously you may have disagreement of when the makeup days were, or, you know, all those kinds of things, but I'm more concerned about communication from the schoolhouse. Was there any concerns in regard to how we got information to parents?
that was fantastic.
Okay. I've tried to, soon as in reality, you guys got the information before my teachers in some cases. As soon as I found out, I went ahead and did a Connect Ed immediately to parents. I think that the news did a better job this time of getting that information on the news more quickly. We also put it on our website, CMS's website, our Facebook page. We tried to use a myriad of avenues to get that information out to parents. I didn't get any negative feedback. I just wanted to make sure that you were getting the information promptly. If you're not getting the calls, most of the calls you got in regard to cancellation, you should have gotten on multiple phone numbers too. Because we have two different options in regard to Connect Ed. And I know it's a pain, but I can do one that's called emergency, and that will go to every phone number that you have in our system. So that will go to your husband's cell, your house, whatever you have in the computer. So if people didn't get all the calls, let us know in the office and we can input other numbers. Typically when we do a Connect Ed, we just do home, and that just goes to whatever home number you have in. Some people have that as their cell, but whatever home number. So I tried to do emergency just so parents were getting the information immediately in regard to everything. I did think the system did a better job in regard to making decisions. It was quicker than it has been in the past. So that was good. ICE, it was a little bit easier those other days because of the neighborhoods were in so much trouble. I did come over here Tuesday, and we did clean the sidewalks and got prepared just in case we were going to be a full day on Wednesday. It didn't happen, but we were prepared for that here. In regard to the parking lots, we are not prepared. They do not come in to clean our parking lots. It's a sunshine thing. And even when you came back on Thursday and Friday, the one curve down near where I stand, it was still a sheet of ice. We tried to keep throwing salt on it just to give some traction, but that area never cleared itself off until really the weekend. So that is going to be a constant issue when we have the ice issues. If you have questions about the makeup days, obviously the next two makeup days, we have Friday off, which seems odd. They protected that one because it's a day after the end of the quarter for grades and things like that. Then the next 2 days we have to make up for the 18th and the 21st of February, which were work days. It was going to be a long weekend in February. You can also look if you go on to CMS's website and look up, you can see every makeup day. Like you can look and see what day is next. I think we have one more day and then we break into spring break. My guess is we're going to probably have another snowfall, I would guess. I mean, we typically do. So we may end up losing one more day. You just never know how they fall. But that you do have access to all those. You can see them in advance. And in fact, next year's calendar is already up. So you can actually look at 2011-12 and see what they are for that. I didn't look at the makeup days. I did look at some of the other calendar events, ironically, but we do have a nicer Christmas break next year, just so you know that. It's actually 2 full weeks next. Huh?
The final
for next year is, yes. They do it 2 years in advance.
Oh, wow.
So they have these 2 years up, and then they'll start working this year for the next 2 years, and then you actually as a parent will have an opportunity to vote. Online, you can vote on calendar choices. Yeah, so that process, I haven't heard when that will begin, but it should be beginning soon for the next 2 years out. Yeah. Also, grades. If you have a student in 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade, there is a little glitch right now in Parent Assist. So you will not see updated grades posted for probably a week or so. Because of the snow days, it screwed up the calendar, and they have to go back in and I don't know all the technical aspects of it, but they have to go back in and rebatch all these things. So teachers can input grades, but they can't be posted yet. So we are in a kind of a lull in regard to what's going to be on there. So if you have a question, talk to your teacher, because you will not see updates over probably the next week or so until they can get everything up and fixed. It's probably also going to change our report card schedule, but they're supposed to send that out to us. So that was a system thing with Parent Assist and NCYs, but it's all based on these snow days. It created issues with how long the quarters are. So they're fixing that right now, but no grades were lost or anything like that. It just will be a responsiveness issue in regard